Okay, there we go. So, yes. Last time we did metta meditation as a visualization without words. After we prepared um the body and the chi for the practice. And tonight we're going to do a Zen meditation, or actually Taoist practice, because Taoism preceded Zen, um, yeah, of formless awareness, or sometimes it's called silent illumination. And fundamentally, is formless awareness. Is it normally we will focus our attention on objects. That's normally how we live and how we get along in the world. A thought comes in our mind and we're aware of it, and we move in a world of objects and relationships. And all the objects co-arise with space, and so um, we don't generally focus on the space because we're so distracted by the objects. But in Taoist teaching, the objects, and in Buddhist teaching too, the objects actually are manifested by the space and then disappear back into the space. And this isn't theory. I mean, you can experience this whenever you meditate. The mind will be empty, it'll be spacious, then a thought will appear out of nowhere and exist, and then the thought will eventually dissolve back into the spaciousness or the emptiness. And the same is true of all fabricated things, um, thoughts, emotions, all mental formations, and in fact, the whole manifest world is in a constant process of arising, lingering, and vanishing. And that's what reality is, according to the Taoists. So the formless meditation is like, just compared to last week, we meditated on metta. That's a form meditation. So we had a formal way of doing that, and we visualized and so on. And with this, we're going to be focusing on the space only. So on the formlessness. And it's very doable. It sounds a little odd because it's not something we're used to doing. We're very materialistic and very oriented toward objects, and human beings are. So when we practice breathing the stars, that's just one step this side of formless awareness. So we'll be doing that practice too. Okay, so welcome everyone, and I'll shift the view here for the people on YouTube. There we go. Okay, so first begin with grounding. Just it can just be a few seconds. Okay, I can feel my feet. I must be here. Here I am. Here we are. Uh, and then when you have a sense of your presence, that is a sense of a grounded sense, then you start moving. So this is different from just starting moving. It's like, I'm not doing Qigong and now I'm doing Qigong. So there's this there's this transition of our movement in daily life into stillness, and then that stillness into a different kind of movement. So, and as you experience more Qigong, it actually doesn't matter too much which movement you choose, as long as it's done in the Qigong way. So as long as it's conscious, it's flowing, and it's with the breath. So my lower body is doing the Tai Chi twist, my upper body is doing cloud hands. And you can just do this too. It's not so important, and as you get more experience with this, certainly you can copy what the teacher's doing, and that's fine. But as you go along, you can feel what you need to do and do that. So Qigong is the interplay of a movement and stillness, yin and yang. So as we're moving, we can contemplate where is the stillness, or what is the stillness? Okay, and the stillness can be the posture that's moving. So we're vertical, we're upright, and that continues. We're moving, but within that, we're maintaining a posture. And there's the breath. The breath is movement. And within the breath, the in and the out, there's this stillness that arises from the awareness of the breath. So in a way, the mind kind of has to become still in order to really experience the movement. Okay, and then let's reduce the movements a little and just come back into standing. Okay, so being aware of stillness and movement, the body is still. That is, it's in the posture. And then within the stillness is the movement of the breath and the heart beating. And in fact, every cell in the body is moving. And even when you get tinier than that, all the molecules and atoms are constantly moving. And so the Buddha said, all fabricated things are impermanent. And if there's impermanence, there's also awareness of it. Okay, so then just let your body come into that vertical posture, and you can help it by sort of visualizing this straight line up through the body, and then feeling the body. Okay, and then starting at the top, so with the head, then let's loosen up the neck. And really do this. I encourage you to do this frequently during the day, just to stay loose, not only physically, but mentally, because you get more relaxed. If you notice the tension, and then you move to alleviate it, then the breath comes online. And, you know, you're just sitting in a chair or driving a car or whatever you might be doing. You just notice, I just think I'll move my neck and shoulders a little. And you do that, and then there's this breath. Okay. And then moving down and opening the chest, the heart. You know, this is an expression of breathing. So do this with your breath. And you can try doing this more deeply. That is, sit down, bend a bit, bend more, and then open way up, extend. Maybe you do it for 2 breaths. So you can do it deeply or subtly. You can do it faster or slower. Okay, so the constant here is life, chi, life force energy, everywhere, always. And then the yin and yang, well, within that is the in breath and the out breath. So the Taoists called the Tao the generative tissue of the universe. So in a way, that's beyond impermanence. Impermanence arises within that. The generative tissue. Okay. So body, breath, and mind, this is oneness, okay? The body is moving, the breath is obvious, the mind is aware of it and offering the intention to do it, which drives it. So body, breath, and mind in harmony. And what this really is it's the chi is doing all of this. The chi is moving, the chi is still, the chi is aware, the chi is producing, and the chi is receiving. Okay, good. Let's reduce the movements. Many of the teachers I've studied with will say, okay, now what you feel in your hands right now, the tingling and the heat, these are two of the obvious ways that qi manifests itself to our awareness. And that's sort of what it feels like. It's not what it is, but it's what it feels like. Okay, good. All right, and now the hips. So you can rock the pelvis forward and back. You can circle the pelvis. So I've got a little bit of pain in my lower back today. It's not usually there, but it is today. And that's okay. I'm not making it worse. I'm just noticing it. Okay, it's there. And so pain often is tightness, stiffness, stress. Not always, but often. And by doing this, we're going to alleviate it. Maybe not immediately, but in the long run. All right. Now, even if you don't do these balancing exercises at home, that's okay, because you do them once a week. And that's enough. There have been many studies using these Tai Chi movements where people will do this every day for a few minutes for 3 weeks and significantly improves the balance, reduces the fall, reduces falling. And I've said many times, when you put on your socks, do it standing up. And that counts. That's homework. That counts. And that will improve your balance. Okay, very good. All right. So now just get loose. And let's just go into Trembling Mountain. So let's focus our attention. Let's start inside the body. You can sort of feel your organs. Feel your interior, your torso. Feel the spine. Maybe the lungs. And just feel the movement inside the torso. There are a lot of nerve endings in the torso. Okay, very good. Now, if you want to, and you can shift the attention to the surface of the body, that's to the skin, to maybe the fingers. You can feel the body. Maybe feel your clothes touching the body. You can feel the surface of the body, front, back, sides. You can feel the air perhaps on your face. Feel the surface of the body. You can feel the interior of the body. Then we can focus the attention on feeling the breath. So there's 2 ways we feel the breath. One is the contact of air in the nasal passages in the throat. And the other is the movement of the belly and the chest. Okay, and now we can focus on the movement itself, and we can change it a little bit. We can make it faster, slower, more deep, however you might want. You can turn a little bit. Now we're focusing on the movement. And then we see how that movement affects the inner body, the surface body, breath. And you can focus on different parts of the body. So you can focus on just from the top, focus on the head, neck, face. Focus on the shoulders, and so on. You move down the body if you like. Of course, you can do this externally or internally. And now we can also focus on the qi. So for instance, using the breath, with the in-breath, we can imagine and feel breathing in through the bottoms of the feet, the perineum, breathing into the lungs, the chest, breathing out through the top of the head. And then reverse. So being aware of this energy, we're actually moving it. And that may affect how you're doing this practice. Okay, and finally, we can practice breathing the stars. So this is visualizing and feeling, breathing in light through the pores of the skin from all directions, lighting up the torso, and then breathing it out. Now this practice, this breath practice may affect how you're doing Trembling Mountain. Okay, so let's increase the intensity a little. Okay. All right, now on the count of 3, we'll stop. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, at first, the mind's overwhelmed by the sensations of the body. Now let's focus on the sensations on the skin or the surface of the body. Okay, let's focus on the breath. Let's focus on the sensations internally. And let's focus on the posture. Okay, let's do that breath practice where we're breathing in from the earth and then breathing out through the top of the head. And then reverse. And then when you're ready, then switch to breathing the stars. Be sure to include behind you, the back of your body. Let's take a few more breaths. Okay, and just break your stance and loosen up a little bit if you want to. So whatever movement that we're doing, our posture in Qigong, if we bring our attention to it in various ways, then it's a true meditation. Okay, it's not just exercise. It's truly a meditation where body, breath, and mind are in harmony, and that's when the Qi awareness arises. Okay, so you may have noticed, you've done Trembling Mountain before, you may have noticed that maybe you were doing it little bit differently as you've changed your focus of attention. Okay, so coming back into stillness. Okay, well, let's go into touching heaven, touching earth. Okay, and so this starts out at the heart. So it starts out vertically. Okay, comfortable, and then stretch. When we stretch and point, when we point, we're directing our attention, our consciousness. We're pointing up, consciousness goes way, way, way up. We're pointing down, consciousness goes down into the ground. Okay, so not only our conscious, but we're actually receiving the energy of the cosmos with the up hand, receiving the energy of the earth with the down hand. And now we bring that together. So this is yin and yang together, left and right, up and down. And it's dynamic. Okay, so then now we go left and right out to the sides. So extend, stretch a little bit. Now we're extending out to the entire manifest realm, all around us. And we're bringing together left and right, yin and yang again. All right, and repeat. Okay, now this extension of attention from the hands, that's the same as the vertical alignment. It's the same as the vertical column. It's not just the hands, it's the whole body. Okay. Okay. With the breath. Okay. And repeating. And what we're describing here is up and down and left and right, also forward and back. So we're actually describing kind of a sphere all around the body. It's a personal space. Okay, now this is also meditation postures, 3 of them, side to side, at the heart. So up and down, let's hold this. Okay, extend way up. So the practice is, what would it feel like to extend way, way, way up, to actually sort of extend your fingers infinitely long. So you can feel all of that. And then down to extend roots into the ground. What would that feel like? Okay, this is feeling the oneness of the earth with the earth, and feeling the oneness with the cosmos. Okay, and then bringing that back, and then just take a moment, focus on the palms of the hands, the heart. So sort of filling the heart with light. And so we're circulating this, what the ancients called the energy of heaven and earth, up and down. We're circulating this form and boundlessness in the body. So yin and yang, in breath and out breath, the heart beating. Okay, good. And then as we go out now, this isn't as big a stretch. This is, I mean, it is, but it's kind of easier because we're familiar with this, the world. And so now we're extending the fingers to become part of the net of Indra, which connects everything. So we're connected, we're one with all that is. Okay, and then the jewel in the net is here at the heart. Okay. And now let's just do the practice without moving. So with the breath, feel like you're moving the hands, pointing, stretching up and down at the same time. And imagine it, remember it, feel it, experience it, and then when you're ready, then bring it back to the heart. So all of that is in the jewel in the heart. And then feel and remember the arms going side to side, left and right. And you can be like Avalokita, you can have 10,000 arms. Extend way out. And then when you're ready, then bring that back. So the body is still, the mind is moving. And this naturally kind of can morph into breathing the stars. You let go of up, down, left, right, front, just let go of all of it and just breathe. In and out in all directions. And then it becomes effortless. And now you can feel the hands. Notice how the hands feel. Notice this, how the skin feels. Notice internally in the body, whatever you want to notice, because this is just happening. It doesn't take any effort. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. Okay, and then when you're ready, let's transition to sitting. And just settle into the sitting posture. Stay loose. And just let the breathing the stars resume. And you experience this not as my breath, just as breath. Now, oh, breathing is happening. And then noticing the feelings of chi, that is the tingling and warmth. The chi is always here. So the tingling in the body is the same as the spaciousness in the mind. The mind is just this tingling space. And out of this energy, thoughts can form or not. We're just focusing the attention on the tingling and warmth in the body, the tingling and spaciousness of the mind, no difference. The breath is happening. The body's here, sitting. The spaciousness in the mind is the same as the spaciousness around the body. You can use breathing the stars as a touchstone if you want to, just recalling it, doing it. Oh, this is awareness without form. This is space being aware of itself. Tingling, being aware of itself. It's just presence. All of this is happening in this moment. Every cell in the body is living. There are trillions of them. The earth is full of countless beings, all living. Life itself is manifesting into these forms. And imagine you're surrounded by infinite space. And you're just a dot in the middle of it. Or not even that. The space is made up of this tingling that you can feel in the body. The mind is made up of this tingling, pixelated, impermanent energy. No real boundary between the body and the environment. No real boundary between the body and the mind. No boundaries. Boundlessness. Every sensation in the body is arising in space. Any thought in the mind arises in space. Okay, so space, that's the out breath. Extends in all directions infinitely. And the in breath come right into this present moment in the body. It's not I am here, it's oh, there's a body here. There's breathing. Yes. The body is here interpenetrating with the space. Okay, so focusing attention now back into the body, to the feeling the outer of the skin and so on, feeling the inner body, and noticing if you need to move a little bit. Okay, the spaciousness is here. We're not leaving it. It's always here. Just bringing our attention fully into the body here, into our senses. Okay, and then you move your fingers a little, hands, toes, begin to move a little bit again. Okay, very good. All right, let's go ahead and do our closing practice. So 1, 2, 3. And just massage the face. Okay. Thank you so much for your presence, for your practice. Your practice benefits all beings. And if you would like to slip away from the Zoom, that's fine. And if you'd like to stay for a few minutes for questions and comments, that's fine too. Okay. Okay, so any questions or comments about formless awareness? This is, it's also called, it has many names. Silent illumination, shikantaza, it goes by many names, but basically it's consciousness without an object. And it's just something, it may seem a little unusual at first, but it's not. I mean, it's just that there are objects, and there is space in the physical world and in the mental world. It's a great relief not to have to focus on the objects all the time, and to be able to relax into this spaciousness, which is also present. You know, it's part of everything. So, and it's not an out-of-body experience. It's an embodied experience. So these practices, these Qigong practices, were just moving kind of step by step from this concentrated form, and integrating as we went, integrating this sense of formlessness, of spaciousness. And I think it's fair to say that if you practice almost any kind of meditation for, you know, in a committed way, eventually it all yields into boundlessness, whatever form of meditation you're doing. It's just going to go there.
Stephen, thank
Hi,
you so
Lavinia.
much for today. Yeah, I've become increasingly interested in not just meditation as a practice, but mental processes and so forth. And one of my recent books just came. It's called The Great Way.
Pointing out the great way.
Yeah, and it's about 500 pages of really specific, minute practices of being aware of different sensations and different ways coming and going. And what you just said is absolutely right. It's all, I mean, it's a gazillion books and different teachers, just all about presence and awareness and finding this space to notice the comings and goings. And it's so funny because there's chapter on chapter, and it goes into different traditions, and they get really specific about pointing the eyes and so forth. But it's all, the goal is the same, just to help you become aware. Like tool 1016 of how to become aware.
Who's the author, Lavinia?
Oh, this is Daniel Brown. He's big with the attachment theory. Yeah, this is Daniel P. Brown's The Great Way.
And so he's what? What did you say his?
I think he might have. I think he's in the boundless realm now, as of a couple of years.
Okay.
But he was I think big in attachment theory. But he began as studying meditation and Buddhism. But anyway, this is a book in his study of the stages of meditation in the Mahamudra tradition. The Mahamudra tradition, you're aware of that tradition. So he goes really into that. But again, the point is, if this doesn't work, here's way 2016 of how you might become aware of the particular moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So are there any like body or movement practices in there? Is it all sitting meditation, or is it different kinds of?
No, there are movement practices.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're going to get through this book in how long?
Yeah. I think that, which I think is out of Mahayana, that tradition is the chanting is part of the tradition, and again, the goal is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Goal seems to be the same. It's just different ways to get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
that's true.
yeah, I just I'm about a third of the way through, and
Wow.
the last,
Uh-huh. So aren't you feeling overwhelmed with all the different practices and teachings in there?
Well, I haven't delved into it for a few months. I just read until I learned something new, some type of insight, which really doesn't happen all of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But every so now and then I'll get there's a revelation about relationships, and that's where the most profound things happen, is revelation in relationships. But I just thought about what you're saying is, the beginning of our comment period, that there are different ways, different schools, manifestations of trying to get to the awareness,
Right.
open awareness.
Right. And, there's all these different cultures, and there's all these different traditions, and there's all these people have all these different types of minds. And, so we need a lot of what in Buddhism they call Dharma doors. We need a lot of ways in, and one person's way in is not going to work for somebody else, perhaps.
Right.
So that's very, if I get enough courage to buy a 500-page book pointing out the great way, that sounds great. It sounds like
I don't think there's used copies only, so you'll be able to find an inexpensive copy, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Mark, did you want to say something, or Kathy?
Well, no, this is Mark. Hi. I just want to let you know, I was pleased when we were starting the initial movements where you were swinging the hands, stretching out to the side. I actually got to the point where I suddenly, my hand is just loosely hinged, and it actually is swinging open by itself, as opposed to being held or put there. It's just at the end, at all of a sudden, it wasn't so much a flop. It just it was like you had a half of a hinge attached to the board, and then the other hand was just freely opening. And it just felt so good to, you're not restrained. Go ahead, just go where you want to go. And then that's the full extent of the range right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess I haven't noticed that type of movement really so much in the past, because you're either absorbed holding a form or a posture or something. And this was just so kind of enjoyable to feel it go off by itself.
Exactly. And it is about enjoyment. It truly is. I mean, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't make us happy in some kind of deep way, why do it? Really? I mean, that's sort of the You know, yeah, I mean, it can be intense, it can be disciplined, it can be, you know, all of these things, but primarily it's the feeling that leads us deeper into it. You know, oh, yeah, this feels good. Wow, this is better than lollipops, you know, this is better than a lot of things, you know. So yeah, that's great. I'm glad that happened for you. Yeah.
Hi,
Thea,
everyone.
yeah.
It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I thank you, Mark, for bringing that up about enjoying and experiencing your reaching. That's pretty cool. And I wanted to say, Lavinia, if you're
Oh,
still there,
she's gone.
well, I appreciated what she was saying too.